Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, the annoying voice of podcasting, and you're listening to the non-annoying Three Guys in a Flick.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
This is your captain speaking. We are running down the target. Let us attend our duties well. This is what we trained for.
Three guys and a flick with Don, Ken, and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys in a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Greyhound. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from the bridge of the USS Keeling, radio call sign Greyhound, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Aye, aye.
And to my left, we have the professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good, but I feel like we're surrounded by seamen.
Yeah, we are. And why is it so fucking cold out here?
How about you? How are you doing?
I can't complain.
I'm a little seasick.
Of course you are. You've taken on too much semen.
Oh, my God.
I know.
It's going to be like that all night, isn't it?
Well, you started it. Tonight we are talking about Greyhound. Greyhound comes to us via the Bronco helmet submitted by one of our listeners, Nolan N. So, Nolan, this one is for you. Released on July 10th, 2020, Greyhound was directed by Aaron Schneider. Screenplay by Tom Hanks. Based on the book The Good Shepherd by C.S. Forster. And it stars Tom Hanks, Stephen Graham, Rob Morgan, Elizabeth Shue, and a bunch of other Navy seamen.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for $50 million, and the streaming rights were sold from Sony for roughly $70 million.
Yeah, it got delayed by COVID, and eventually Sony just kind of gave up on it and sold it to Apple.
Yeah. Had you guys seen this before?
I have not.
I had never even heard of it, and when it was first put into the helmet and we picked it, I thought it was about a bus. I thought maybe Tom Hanks was going to be a bus driver, and this was going to be like Speed 3.
Oh, brother.
Well, I mean, that's not that far off the mark for this guy, right? I had never seen it either. In fact, I had never even heard of it. And then when I went to look it up, not only was it 2020, it was Tom Hanks. So, I mean, it can't be all that bad, right?
Yeah, I already knew it was Tom Hanks.
And it's the fifth time Tom Hanks has played a captain in a movie.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Well, that makes sense because he's very captainly. So,
Would you take orders from Tom Hanks?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Would you?
Depends on which Tom Hanks, but yes.
No, just Tom Hanks.
Probably, yeah. He's
Okay.
such a nice guy, it seems like.
Yeah, see, I feel like I would want to do anything for that guy.
Mhm.
He's
Right.
today's version of Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, that's a good point.
I could see that.
Yeah. Normally we would talk about the director, but have you guys heard of this guy?
No.
I guess he had done a few movies. His last movie was Get Low before this one. He took an 11-year break, and the only thing he's really known for is he did the cinematography on Eminem's video, Lose Yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, he gets his shot here with one Sir Tom Hanks.
Yes, he does.
Tom Hanks writes the screenplay. Were you surprised to see that?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and I wasn't as surprised when I saw, as it was going through the production houses, at the credits at the beginning, I see Playtone. It's like, oh, Playtone. Okay. And then as soon as I saw Tom Hanks' screenplay, it's like, well, that makes sense then.
Well, this would be the third movie he's written. I think the last one he did was Larry Crown.
Yeah, the one with Julia Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that opening. It was like 8 minutes of production house logos.
It's so interesting to watch that sometimes. You have these production houses and you watch their little logo, their little symbol, their little animation that they have. And yeah, sometimes there's a lot.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot for this one. That is for sure. Speaking of screenwriter Tom Hanks, what did you think of him as the captain?
I have bought what he sold.
Instantly, right?
Yes.
As soon as he wakes up.
Yeah. You know, the leadership character that we get from Hanks in this movie is just so rich. You know, his moral fortitude and the way that he leads himself continually throughout this movie is just something that is so impressive for me to think about people doing this in real life, that he is representing people that did this in real life. You are a commanding officer with all of this responsibility, and you have all of these young sailors staring at him, and they're looking at you like, is that the right decision? And you got to be thinking to yourself, is that the right decision? But it's got to be the right decision because that's my decision, and that's what we're going with.
Yeah.
And I totally buy it. But, you know, every time we see those young faces looking back at us, it's just like they're looking at him like, are you sure? Is that what we're doing? Is that the right thing to do?
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, yeah, he sells it in spades.
What about you?
I think he's a fantastic actor, but I think where he excels at, which is probably one of the greatest in Hollywood, is his displaying of his emotions just from his facial, gestures and in his eyes. The way he even just moves his eyes slightly, or that look he gives, you can tell exactly how he's feeling, and you can feel it yourself. The difference between this movie and the book version is the book version is more about his inner thoughts and his inner torment and second guessing himself. And I felt like you could see that in Tom Hanks' eyes in the movie.
He does have such tender eyes. Mm-hmm. That is for sure. This was made from a book, and it was a fiction. Do you know that?
Yes.
It's basically, it takes a lot of real things that happened, but it's a fiction story based off of those real events.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
pieced together.
I mean, I'll say real in quotations, but
it was written in
sure.
1950, right after World War II.
Oh, but there you go.
Or not right after, but
there you go.
A few years.
There wasn't a whole lot of known faces in this cast, but one that I did recognize was Stephen Graham. Did you guys recognize Stephen Graham?
I knew him from somewhere, and it wasn't until after the fact that I go, look, oh, yeah, Snatch.
That's Tommy.
I had to look him up, but yeah.
Oh, did you?
The other one I recognized was Elizabeth Shue, but she's in it for 2 minutes?
If that, yeah. Which is probably my biggest problem with this movie, but we'll get there. Anybody else jump out at you in this cast?
The one thing that this movie had an issue with, I think, is building up characters and building up anybody for us to care about. The only one that I thought really kind of, made me go, oh, was the guy who was serving the food that ended up dying.
Messmate, Cleveland.
They kind of built him up just a little bit, gave him a little more time, I think, than any of the other background characters. But other than that, there was nobody to get hooked on.
Yeah, no, this was a very isolated film. And I thought Cleveland was a great character. And I, too, was like, oh, when he dies. But what about you? Anyone else?
No, not necessarily. The Stephen Graham character, Charlie Cole, I think that he was nice to have. During the squabble that he's looking on as the two guys that got into a brawl early at the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. And, he's watching to see how measured the captain's going to be. And then after the captain hands down, you two need to make up. Otherwise, you're going to really get it from me. And then I like how, he pauses for just a beat and then, he tells them how lucky they are. And so with that, I feel like, okay, he is a strong second in command officer here.
Yes, and I bought their relationship hook, line, and sinker. I felt that Charlie was very much the captain's right hand. And yeah, I really enjoyed him in this role, for sure. What do you think of Tommy?
Like I said, I liked him as a character, but I didn't get enough of him. I didn't get enough background on any of the characters to really care about them.
I feel like you don't get enough of a lot of things in a lot of movies. You were actually kind of a needy moviegoer.
What's funny is because in a recent movie, I said there was too much love story. In this one, I felt like there was too little of background stories.
Oh, well, which one is it? Love or background?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think that this movie is really intriguing to watch from the aspect of something that I knew little to nothing about, which is the daily goings on and the intricacies and how the cogs turn on life aboard a World War II warship. And this World War II warship having us watch every step of the way, for these 2 days was super interesting, sort of in the way it's fascinating to watch the movie Titanic for the sake of the backdrop of the ship Titanic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
One of
for sure.
One of the things I think that this movie does that phenomenally is the fact that not many movies take place in just one small location. Breakfast Club is an example, all in the library detention. Really, this movie takes place for the majority of it just in the bridge, or just in the
On the bridge.
just on the bridge on the ship. I mean, they're just running side to side, but it's all in one room. And so the realism and the claustrophobia and the isolationism and all of that, you can feel that because it almost feels like it's happening in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciated the fact that it was a small location, if you will, because they run all over the ship, really. And, but I think what I appreciated most with a war film was this movie was $130, and it moved and it was well paced, and I found that very, very pleasantly pleasing. So there you go.
Right on. I was curious because I know that you're not a fan of the genre, and so with that, it's like, I wonder what Don's going to think of this because it's a war movie.
Well,
We'll get into it.
Yes, we will.
Let me ask you this. Normally, when I watch these movies, I don't get into the music. I usually, unless it's like a needle drop or something from the 80s, I don't really pay much attention. This movie, the music seemed like it was the heartbeat of the movie. Like every time there was a lull, the music got quiet. Every time there was just all the action, it was just intense. What do you think of the soundtrack of this movie?
I dug the soundtrack.
It worked.
It did, and it reminded me of some of Hans Zimmer stuff.
Yeah.
When they're in the water and you get that boom, when you see the U-boats going through, and
Yeah, or the U-boats crashing the surface and you get the violins.
yes, it felt very Hans Zimmer to me, which is a great thing because I really dig Hans Zimmer. But we say all the time that soundtracks can carry and lift up a movie. And I thought that the soundtrack for this particular movie complemented it very well. And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Blake Neely is, he also did Pirates of the Caribbean. He did The Last Samurai, but he does a lot of TV. That's what he's kind of doing nowadays.
Which Pirates of the Caribbean did he do?
The first one.
Are you sure that wasn't Hans Zimmer?
That was Hans Zimmer in the first one.
Oh, when I clicked on it, it said, no, it did, it wasn't the first one. It was, I have to look it up. It was one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Sorry.
All right. No, I just don't want anybody to yell at us in the comments.
Yeah.
So on the coattails of the soundtrack, the other thing that worked for it is what it got nominated for. It got nominated for 1 Academy Award for sound.
And it's funny because when you think back to 2020 and COVID and everything being shut down and this, that, and the other, I forgot that there was an Academy Award that year. And knowing that this got nominated one, I can totally see it. So, yeah.
Here's a question for both of you. This movie felt like it was made to see on the big screen. I mean, it's like a Top Gun style movie where you want to see all that action, all that sound, all that effects on the screen. Do you think it really took it away having to watch it for the first time on a TV? And would you see it in the theater?
I think that knowing that it's a World War II film, all of that CGI, and it looked CGI, and my fear is if I saw it any bigger, it would look even more CGI. So for this particular instance, watching it at home didn't bother me. Would I go see it in the theater? Yeah, maybe. It's only $130. So what about you?
The thought of having it being CGI'd, looking at the CGI on the big screen, that can be a bit of a little disappointing in a way. It's like, yeah, that's CGI. And I don't know what it looked like. For me, I was fucking pissed off because I'm watching it on a tablet. I'm watching it on a small screen, and I don't want to be watching it on a small screen.
No,
Fucking pissed me off. So I wanted to watch it on the telly, but the house is cold, and I wanted to be in the room where the fireplace is going. And so when I did go to fire it up in the bedroom, and the wife's like, I'm going to bed now. All right, well, I'll head out to the living room. So I didn't get to watch it on the big screen, but I want to watch it on the big screen again because some of those shots, like of all of the ships when we're looking at them from up above at the beginning of the movie. I want to look at the U-boats coming up out of the water. I really dug some of the shots of the ship when the bow goes down into the water and it comes back up and splashes all that water up. There's some shots that I definitely want to see again. And there's some nice camera work in here too anyway that doesn't necessarily pertain to big screen or small screen. I'll get to that. But yeah, I think that, having it on a big screen, television screen, I would enjoy it.
What about you?
I think I would definitely go see it in the theater. In fact, my dad watched it with me.
I was wondering.
And he loved this movie. He kept asking me, when's this episode coming out? When's this episode coming out? Because he wants to listen to it.
Shocker.
And I would go see it with my dad just to get that just to get that Top Gun effect of, the tension and the realism of it.
I love that you used the Top Gun comparison. It's cute. Would you go see it in the theater if your dad didn't go?
Probably not.
Okay.
It'd be tempting.
The reason I ask is because you're not a war guy. And so just almost as much as me as I'm not a war guy, right? But for you to say, yeah, I'd go see it in the theater, I was gonna be impressed, but
it takes a lot for me to go see a movie by myself. Usually I like to go with friends.
Okay.
Let me
invited me. Okay. Let me rephrase that. If I said and Ken said, "Hey, let's go see this in the theater,"
so it's
you would
the
go.
three of us.
I would go.
Okay. No, that's good. That's big steps for this guy.
And I'm saying after already have seen it. It's not like the first time I've seen it.
No, we got that.
I would go see it again.
Yeah.
So anybody listening out there, if you put Greyhound back up onto the big screen, the three of us will go see it.
I do want to throw this out there. Props go out to people who've served in the Navy. The way that ship listed and the action scenes and all that, I would have just been peeing myself all over the place. I couldn't have handled it.
Puking,
peeing, everything. I would have been scared witless. The people who did their duty and everything, especially during World War II, in those kind of scenes, there were action scenes that actually happened with people fighting U-boats like that and doing those hard rudder turns, things like that. Oh, that's just crazy. I'm amazed by what those people went through and what they were able to do during that time.
Yeah. Here. Do you have any trivia for us there, Guy?
Why, yes, I do. I do have several trivia questions for the two of you. Let's see how you fare. Question number 1. Early on in the story, 2 British destroyers are out of position during their escorting duties. For up to 2 points, what are the names of the destroyers?
Don.
Dick
and Harry.
No.
Eagle and Harry.
Eagle and Harry is correct.
Damn.
Point to John.
I don't get one for Harry? You said up to 2 points.
Yeah, I can see.
So 2 points for John, 1 point for Don.
Even though I gave John the answer.
I had the answer.
But I know you did, but I also gave you the answer at the same time. I think we should
get each 1 point because I added to your answer.
So that's kind of where I was going with that, but I'm not swaying the judge. 2-1.
He is the final word.
I know.
And he's very handsome today.
You through. Question number 2. After surviving the night, how many charges is Captain Krause told they have left?
Don. 6.
6 is the correct answer. Question number 3. How many of the 41 ships were lost during their journey across the pit?
Don.
Tie.
7.
7's the answer.
7's the answer, but it's a tie, so no point. Question number 4. On a sea vessel, starboard is on the left side or the right side?
Don. Right. Clearly, I'm not.
Right is the correct answer.
I was going to go with whatever opposite you said.
Yeah, right. Starboard. And what's left?
Port and starboard.
Yeah, port and starboard.
Question number 5. Before messmate Cleveland is killed in action, how many meals do we see he has prepared for the captain?
John, before he dies, 2 meals.
Not correct.
3.
3 is the correct answer. 2 he brings. The third one he never delivers because he's called into duty and he has to put it down.
Okay, because I thought we didn't see that until after he dies, but you're right. He does set it down.
He knows he's right. He does his homework.
So this week, the winner is Dawn.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. In February 1942, Allied convoy HX-25, 37 merchant and troop ships bound for Liverpool, sails into the Black Pit, a dangerous stretch of the Atlantic beyond Allied air cover. The convoy is escorted by 4 warships under the command of Commander Ernest Krause aboard the U.S. destroyer, the USS Keeling. Call sign, Greyhound. Though Krause is highly trained, this is his first combat command, while the captains serving him have already endured years of war. 3 days into the crossing, Greyhound intercepts a German transmission and detects a U-boat stalking the convoy. Krause reacts quickly, tracking and destroying it with depth charges. But the victory is short-lived. Another U-boat, bearing a gray wolf emblem, sinks a merchant ship, and reports confirm multiple submarines closing in. The enemy wolfpack stays just out of range, waiting for nightfall to strike.
So the movie opens with this dialogue as we listen to world leaders discussing the maritime issues of World War II in the Atlantic Ocean. What did you think of hearing all of that different dialogue?
It was a lot of reading and it's just a lot of information, right? However, it does set up the state of the world and where we're at. It drops us into the story.
It gives you the feels. It gives you kind of the feeling of what it was like.
I suppose so.
Yeah, and we get a couple of title cards that tells us that the stakes of what is before us as we start out the story. And then we are told North Atlantic, February 1942, right in the middle of World War II.
I thought it was very clever how when they showed us like the wide shots of the ships, they would put the name of the ship over the...
I like that.
I like that a lot. So their use of title cards I thought was very well done.
So we have the ships, and as they're moving along, we have the ships saying goodbye to their air cover, and they're heading out into what they call the pit. Good luck.
Yeah, the Black Pit.
And then we're given another card, and it says Convoy HX-25, destination Liverpool, England. 37 troop and supply ships escorted by 4 lightweight warships led by Greyhound. And so, incidentally, listeners, it's not made clear per se, but the Greyhound name, it's only a call sign because destroyers were called Greyhounds because they were fast and not big. And so this is a placard that is used, I think, for the command ship that is responsible for defending all of the ships that it is escorting.
Yeah. So he's kind of like the convoy's quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was also supposed to represent the U.S. entering the war after Pearl Harbor. This was one of the first convoys that's going across the Atlantic.
Because December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. A curious thing, thinking back about Pearl Harbor, what I think many people don't necessarily take into account was that when Pearl Harbor was attacked on December 7th, 1941, it was not a state in the United States. It was a military base because Hawaii did not become a U.S. state until 1959.
Well, that's why we call him the professor.
And so we meet Captain Krause. We see him get up out of his bunk, says a little prayer, and he splashes some water on his face. And then suddenly we're taken to 2 months back.
And 2 months ago, he is meeting Elizabeth Shue in a lobby of what I assume is a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this conversation. It's Christmas time. And he basically gives her a ticket and says, let's go to this place so I can ask you to marry me. And I must have blinked because the next thing I know, he is putting the ticket back into his pocket, and we cut back to him at the ship. Now, I think she says we can't do this because times are crazy.
Well, she basically said, I can't build a future with you until I know we have a future, which means she knows he's getting shipped off. She knows that he's going to be doing this treacherous thing or this dangerous thing. And she doesn't want to start a future unless she knows it's going to go somewhere, that he's coming home. So I really thought that they were, because he made the comment of, I can't wait till I can see you coming around that corner again. I thought that was foreshadowing for how the movie was going to end with him seeing her one more time. I was really surprised that this was a go nowhere scene. I mean, they show her, they show his kind of heart getting broken a little bit, and then they drop that whole story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but not entirely, because when we see the slippers come out, and we do see the little toy on the ship with him that he has gotten from her. So we do see that little reminder, when he gets up, and that's in his cabin. But when the slippers come out, it's kind of touching.
It's funny because you bring that up. I never really thought about this, but when he first opened the box and saw the slippers, he was like, oh yeah, great slippers. But in the movie, he was very happy to have those slippers because of his feet hurting so bad.
They were monikered.
They were.
So I'm sure he really appreciated it then.
Yeah.
Given another title card, it is Wednesday, forenoon watch, 800 to 1200, 50 hours to air cover. And so now you're thinking, okay, here it comes.
And it's kind of like, obviously we're waiting for something to happen. It's the calm before the storm.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that they did a really good job at showing us, I guess, Navy life.
Life on board the ship.
During this time. Right? And how antiquated everything was. I thought it was funny, and I don't know if that's correct or not, but they repeated everything. The captain would say something to someone, and he would repeat it, and they would say it to the other person, and that they would repeat it. And I thought that the way they communicated was very interesting.
The rigidity of it shows you that they have drilled and trained and drilled again and again, because we, the audience, we're trying to comprehend and take this in. It's just like, wow, the captain knows instantly who he needs to talk to, what he needs done as soon as he hears that information. And that's one of his other wonderful skills that we see in his leadership ability, that you have the captain, that he is able to prioritize issues. And he is able to hand some things off when necessary, but he's also willing to snap right to and take control of it. And, having that, everyday life bit, it is really intriguing to watch, because I'm trying to keep up with what's being communicated like you're talking about.
Yeah. And by God, these actors and Hanks and all of them, they sell it. They sell it very well.
For the amount of the movie that Julie actually watched, she got tired of hearing "I" over and over again. But I do agree, they did a great job of showing, actual Navy life and procedures. In that, yeah, they do repeat everything because they want to make sure they get exactly what the captain has said.
Yeah.
So it turns out there's a couple of sailors, and they got into a little fight, and so the captain has to deal with that. But he's suddenly called upstairs. We got to deal with this. We've got a couple of destroyers that are way off.
And you touched on it when we were talking about Stephen Graham. I really like his presence in this scene, like you were saying. And at the end, when he walks up to him and he goes, "You guys fucking count your blessings," I thought was really great. And, captain's got to go. He's been called up to the bridge.
So regarding the two guys who got in a fight, I thought originally that was going to be another story that was going to come up later, that maybe one was going to save the other's life, or by the end they were going to be best of friends because they'd been through all this. Again, it was a story that didn't go anywhere, but then I thought, well, maybe that was there to show us this is kind of everyday life in the Navy where the captain has to deal with a situation, but all of a sudden we're shown exactly, he gets pulled away because of the emergency situation of the U-boat coming. So I don't know. I think it kind of was the twist that kind of added a little drama. That makes sense?
It does. It does.
So it turns out that we have two destroyers. They have been out of position for over 2 hours. And we are also told that it is very likely that there is a U-boat that is very nearby. And so general quarters are issued. And now we are about to experience what a destroyer does.
And this shows you how much I know. I thought a U-boat wasn't necessarily a submarine. I thought it was going to be a boat on the water, and I'm thinking to myself, how come they can't see these guys? But I found out.
Do you know where the name U-boat comes from?
Where?
It's German. It's for Unterseeboot, which is actually, if you translated it, it's basically undersea boat.
Oh, it certainly does go under the sea.
Now, one of the things that we touched on a little bit, but being that this is his first command, he got put in charge of a pretty big mission. I mean, he's leading all these. So you can kind of understand they just barely touch on it. But if you look at the sailors behind him and their looks, every time he does, a command or anything, they are kind of questioning whether or not he has enough experience, enough training, enough know-how to actually lead them in the situation. And you can see in their eyes, they're kind of second guessing him. You had mentioned that a little bit before, Professor. And by the end, they're no longer, second guessing him anymore. But like I mentioned in the book, he's feeling that. We're hearing all of his inner emotions, and he is second guessing himself throughout the movie or throughout the book.
And it's really sold to us when this hunt for the U-boat starts becoming intense as the U-boat closes in, because once the U-boat is under 10 miles and it's still on the surface, and he's told, we can fire at him, right?
Right.
And so he's like, no, I want to be able to see them with my own eyes. And so everybody's like, okay.
And right there, they're second guessing him,
Exactly.
like, what the fuck's going on? But he's got a method to his madness. And I like the bit where I think it's here. He gets behind the U-boat and he's following them. And then the U-boat goes left and he goes right. And everybody on board's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, because we are also briefly shown that the U-boat is going one direction and he's going another direction. They're like, did I just see that right? What is going on?
Yeah. I thought that was really good. And I like how he's in constant communication with Charlie downstairs.
The sonar guy.
And just the back and forth with it. And he's so quick on his feet. Right?
Yes.
And he's like, 09 degrees. And then he'll run outside, go 0.75, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just like he knew the map and the terrain, if you will, in his head. And I thought it was great.
And that's what I was talking about. That is so darn interesting to watch, is that the captain knows how to play all of the instruments on his ship using the tentacles, if you will, of the officers and the sailors around him. He knows who to talk to. He knows what to do that he needs the ship to produce right now.
And he's playing a game of Battleship. So, yeah.
I kept wondering why the U-boats kept coming up out of the water and traveling so much out of the water.
To recharge.
It actually has to do with speed as well.
Yep.
They can only go about 7 to 8 knots, which is actually 8 to 9 miles per hour under the water, and they can only do it for short bursts. They when they're at the surface, they can go 17 to 18 knots, which is 20 to 21 miles per hour. So they can travel much faster when they're at the surface. Now, a destroyer like that, it's actually going about 38 knots, which is 44 miles per hour, which makes sense why the U-boats kept catching up to them when they were zigzagging. But when they started going straight, they were losing the U-boats a bit.
Yeah.
And the other critical aspect is no matter how fast that destroyer is, the speed is great when it's on the hunt, but you are only as fast as your slowest ship.
That's true.
And so they get into a little skirmish, right? This is where they sink the U-boat?
Yeah, and so they end up coming up on each other, and then he bears them down like a little bit of a game of chicken, and then he goes underwater, and he's waiting to hear from the sonarman, propellers, he's gone under, and then right there, bam, discharge,
Depth charge, yeah.
yeah, it's just like, whoa, okay, I get it now.
And then it was a game of chess. And we see the explosions come up, and they're like, fuck, we missed, blah. But then we notice some oil slick.
In Hollywood, normally for these kind of action scenes, we'd have this big explosion, over-exaggerated. What did you think about not really having that, just having the oil come up?
Oh, I thought it was great. I thought it was, I guess, true to form.
Yeah.
In a movie like this, though, I don't think I would expect overblown explosions or anything like that. You didn't really have that in Saving Private Ryan or any of the other recent war movies. But I hear what you're saying, and I appreciated the realism, if you will, of this flick. I love the fact that the depth charges did their damage underwater, and then it bubbled up, right? So...
Well, the other thing that tells us that the U-boat was hit is you have the sonar guy saying that there is the sound of a crumpling hull.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you
right?
do.
And then with that, everybody starts cheering. But what do we have the captain doing? He has those sad, sad eyes. He knows that he has just sealed the doom of souls. Not sailors, not soldiers, souls. He felt bad that he had to take their lives like that.
He really did. Yeah.
Yeah, because they made it a point to show us he is a deeply religious man.
Yeah. One of the officers says, you got a bunch of krauts, 50 krauts or whatever the name they were calling the Germans.
And
he was like, no.
Souls.
Yeah. Dick, show some respect. I didn't want to do that.
Exactly.
But I had to.
Exactly. Because many other lives were at stake.
Yeah.
More than just that one U-boat crew.
Yeah, and so based off of this scene, we think, okay, great, he's won. What's next? And we find out that he beat one boat, but there are 6 more U-boats on the way that they've counted.
And I thought that they did a really good job at building the tension in this. It's very much that action movie that doesn't give you a moment to breathe, or the moment they do give you to breathe is
it's brief.
False, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's literally a breath, and then you get the distress flare or the distress missiles going up.
Yeah, because just after they're celebrating, it's just afterwards we get the Greek ship Despotico, and it's in flames, and so holy shit, another ship has just been hit, and so as they go back to investigate, we get that very brief shot through the periscope. And I'm thinking, that's got to be the Greyhound. And they fire off 2 torpedoes. And so they spot the torpedoes almost immediately. And then the first one goes pretty wide. He responds pretty well. But the second one, that was wonderful, because you have them, where he is in that hard, steep turn. And we see the torpedo as it starts to approach the bow, and you have Hanks out there on the left bridge outside, and he's watching the torpedo go by. He's like, holy shit, brace for impact. And you see it careen off of the side of the hull. It's just like, whoa. And the way that they did that was they had built the entire bridge on a huge gimbal, and the huge gimbal rocked back and forth as needed. So that way, everybody, when they leaned it one way, it's just natural. You got to grab something before in order to stay where you're at. And so to see Hanks down there like that, leaning way over, man, it was just so cool.
I liked when they fired their torpedoes and how he would outrun them or outmaneuver them. And it just showed what a savvy captain this guy really was. So
once, like you mentioned, once that action started, I felt, normally in, again, war movies, it's hard to keep my interest, but I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, because it just kept going, and you kept wondering what's going to happen next. What are they going to do next?
Yeah, crazy. And so there's another ship, the Cadena, and it was back there, and it was rescuing the survivors from that ship that we saw on fire. And we are told that the Cadena, it's going to be a good 2 hours before they can rejoin the convoy. And you got to be thinking, fuck.
Yeah.
You are you are toast.
Yeah, sitting ducks.
Well, they
right?
also say, I think they rescued only 42 of the sailors from that one. And then they also make mention that the other boats that are coming, the other U-boats that are coming, won't attack until nighttime. So they have this lull of knowing it's coming that night.
Right. And so we are given another card, and it's Wednesday, dog watch, 1600 to 2000 hours, 36 hours until air cover.
As darkness falls, the wolfpack attacks relentlessly. The U-boat known as Grey Wolf torpedoes an oil tanker and escapes by deploying a decoy, causing the escorts to waste precious depth charges. Krause diverts to rescue survivors, but the delay allows another supply ship to be sunk. The German commander begins taunting the escorts over open radio, signaling his confidence as the wolfpack tears into the convoy. By morning, Greyhound is nearly out of ammunition, working alongside the Canadian corvette Dickey. Greyhound destroys a surfaced U-boat, but not without losses. Enemy deck gunfire strikes Greyhound, killing 3 sailors. During a burial at sea, another Allied ship is sunk, and the Polish destroyer Eagle is crippled and later abandoned. With the convoy on the brink of collapse, Krause makes a desperate decision, breaking radio silence to send a single word to command: help. The reply confirms incoming air support. And so now we're at night, and we start to see some of the, what were they called? Like distress rockets, or they kept
Flares.
kind of, but they said something like missile or rocket or something.
Yeah, there is a name for it. I have it somewhere. I guess you could call it night flare.
Yeah, but they start seeing them. And so this is a distress signal, right?
And we see that there is a sub. It's spotted, and they try opening fire on it, but there's another convoy ship on the other side, and they got to cease fire.
But that one then fires back and hits in. That's what's crazy. Those bullets that started coming through the bridge.
Yeah, and the captain's immediate, or someone was like, friendly fire, and they all hit the deck. And one of the poor sailors got fucking hit.
Well, I think it hit the glass and the glass hit him.
Oh, it wasn't the bullet that went through his face?
I think it was, he got cut up by the glass.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, here's another convoy ship, and if they're not careful, they're going to collide with an oncoming convoy ship.
And so the captain does his thing. They miss each other barely.
And the sub ends up diving.
It just shows the chaos and the fear, I think, that was going on right then. People are starting to panic a little.
Oh, yeah.
And the sub, once it submerges, we see that it deploys a decoy.
Yeah, I forget the actual like German word, but something with like Pilsner or Pilser. It's just this pill thing that made it sound like a rudder.
I thought when I saw it eject from the submarine that I thought it was like a depth charge or a bomb, and I thought it was going to come up from underneath the Greyhound and blow it up. But it's not until later, as they keep searching and trying to find the U-boat, and the radar starts to act a little funky, that we realize, oh, it was a fucking decoy.
Well, did you get how they figured out it was a decoy?
Because it wasn't moving.
Yeah, it was in the same position the whole time.
Yeah.
And of course, the U-boat would have moved.
Which is weird, because you think the current would have taken it.
A
But
little
anyway.
bit, but it wasn't moving enough. So I think, again, that's where the crew starts looking at, like, why didn't he figure this out sooner? Like, even though they didn't figure it out sooner, it was kind of like they were again questioning him.
And then right after that, we watch the tanker. It explodes, and there goes another ship. Oh, man. And there's survivors in the water, but the Cadena, they're requesting assistance. That's that ship that's 2 hours out.
Right.
Captain is faced with a really tough decision now. What do? Am I going to rescue sailors in the water right here, or am I going to go back and assist my one lone ship?
And though Tom Hanks looks at the camera and gives you that question of what's he going to do, we all knew what he was going to do. Yeah, he did the right thing. He went after the sailors that were closest to him, and he radioed back and said, we'll get there when we can.
Did you hear how many sailors were saved because of his decision?
No.
4.
Oh, well,
Which, again, those 4 were probably pretty happy about it.
I would think so, right?
But how many people lost their lives because of that decision?
Well, you're in a no-win
I know.
situation if you think about it like that.
It's just crazy. So I'm just thinking that's another thing weighing on his mind.
Well, and that's, where we see Tom Hanks's character with his leadership, because you have to make tough decisions. And when you're making these tough decisions, you're accepting the reality that you're at. And it's like, I'm going to pick one or the other, but I can't do nothing.
Right.
And so, great leadership here.
One little bit that I thought was very, I don't know if cute's the right word, but I appreciated it. He tells one of his officer dudes to go down to his room and get his jacket. But a specific jacket. And when he brings it up, he tries to give it to the captain, and the captain looks at him and goes, "Put it on the radiator." And I went, "Oh, that's fucking genius," because he's running in and out of the cold and everything's freezing. And I was thinking, oh, he's going to have a nice warm jacket when he's ready.
Just to go back a second, the decoy was called a pillenwerfer, otherwise known as a pill thrower. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting. It looked like a little pill.
Yeah.
And it's during these times, and I don't really notice it until I started looking for it. It is so much fun to watch us follow the captain as he goes from starboard to port. It's just one continuous shot as he goes from one side to the other.
Well, they kind of take turns between the U-boats and the Greyhound of hunting each other. And I kind of felt like you were saying, when he was going back and forth, we were part of the hunt. We were looking at the water just like he was looking at the water for any little detail that could be that U-boat. So again, this movie did a great job, I felt like, pulling us in. What did you think of when the U-boat captain started taunting them?
I called bullshit. It was only used for dramatic effect.
It never happened in World War II.
I know.
They never broke radio silence.
And I felt that watching it before I actually found out that was bullshit, right? I was watching it and I'm thinking, there's no way that this happened.
Do you know why it was written in like that? It wasn't in the book either.
Dramatic effect.
They wanted to give a voice to our villain so that you would feel more of that villain presence in the U-boat.
It didn't do anything for me per se. So
what'd you think, Ken, of the taunting?
I didn't think it was necessary. And if it really happened, okay. And if it didn't really happen, okay. I'm fine either way.
I actually kind of found it corny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on. But that's just me. That's just this guy's opinion.
In the meantime, another ship is struck down. And then we have, apparently some time has passed, because we hear that some men have been rescued and the radar is back up, and the U-boats are closing in now, and multiple flares are lighting up the sky. There's one, there's a second one, there's a third one. I'm thinking, oh shit.
Is this where we get our title card that it's Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
And there are 26 hours to cover.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, 26 more hours? That's got to be fucking so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and we get a great camera shot right before we get the title card, where the camera takes us up above, and as we go up into the clouds, and we see all of the convoy fleet. It's like, man, that's some rich target shooting there.
Is this the scene where
eventually we go up into the clouds
and we keep going and going and
Yes.
going? I thought it was a bit much. After we see the ships and go through the clouds,
Yeah.
the editor in me says cut.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I know?
My thought was we are about halfway through this black pit, because they said originally it was going to be about 50 hours.
Yep.
There's 26 hours left. They've already lost, I believe, 5 ships at this point.
And the captain is given unwanted news that they are down to 6 depth charges. And you're thinking, how the fuck are they going to get out of this with just 6?
And knowing that there are 5 or 6 U-boats left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the odds are stacking against them, right?
And so this is the bit where we get the sub on the surface, and they can't hit them. And the next thing you know, the sub is hugging up against Dickie, and they can't get a shot on it with Dickie in the way. And Dickie is, once again, not able to get down low enough, and that's the rudder maneuver that John was just talking about here. But it's just like so maddening. They're right there and you can't shoot at them.
Well, here was my question that I asked my dad at this point. You know, he has military service, but he didn't serve in the Navy. I'm like, doesn't anybody on the ship have a grenade? Couldn't somebody just toss it at that ship? They were so close, they could have just dropped it on them.
I noticed that there was machine gun fire.
Yeah.
There were guys on the side that were firing machine guns. But
Yeah, small, but it's just machine guns. Eventually, Dickie gets out of the way, but the Greyhound ends up taking a shell hit to the starboard side.
One of their guns, I believe.
Yep.
and from when it hit and the way it looked, I thought it like tore a hole in the entire side of the ship, but it turns out it was just a gun, and unfortunately, they lost 3 members.
Yeah, and
they again,
and they do sink the sub.
Yes, they do.
but in a bit of again realism and not sensationalizing it. He talks about the bodies, and the bodies were mutilated. So I thought that was they're not going to show us this graphic violence or this they said nope, this is what happens during wartime.
Yeah, and so this is a very poignant moment in the story because the captain, he's asking, so who are the dead? And so it turns out in the meantime you have I don't remember the messmate's name. It's like Epps or something like that. He comes in, he places the pits. He comes in, places the tray of food down, and then we hear that Cleve is one of the dead ones, and then we have the captain ask, so how badly was he hit? And he says completely mutilated, and we are looking at that nice white and tidy tray of food that represents Cleve. So Cleve is a bloody mess, and here we are remembering him looking at this pristine little tray of food.
Yeah.
And my dad kept asking, how much of a caffeine high is Krause on at this point? Because he drank a shit ton of coffee during this movie.
Yes, he did.
That's all he was living on.
Because he's awake for pretty much 2 days.
Over almost 50 hours.
He's the captain of the ship. He's not going to bed.
And that's another thing. That's another aspect about his leadership skills, that he's going to stay the course until the job is done.
Yeah, because they at one point said someone was ready to relieve him, and he stayed on the bridge.
Yeah, because throughout the movie, you get other people being relieved, and you hear that going on. And I'm always thinking, no, he's not going to go nowhere. He's the fucking captain.
Yeah,
And they're still in. They're still engaged.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still enemies out there.
So we end up getting a brief little scene with the burial at sea with the 3 casualties of the battle.
When they were sliding them off and one of them got stuck, I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. But thankfully, they got it working.
And it was Cleveland. And I took it as, it's like he wasn't ready to go. He still wanted to serve. That's how I kind of sort of halfway took it. And then right after that, there's a distress rocket at the rear of the convoy. And one of the destroyers, the Eagle, it's burning. It's been hit in a bad way. And then we're given a card. Thursday, first watch, 2000 to 2400 hours, 14 hours to air cover.
Doesn't Eagle also get towed?
It's making its way, but it's on a list.
They're trying to patch it at this point, and I guess they carried these big patches they could put onto the ships to stop but it turned out a little bit later we find out the hole was just too big.
Yeah, and then Krause gets a call on the radio, and it says, "Is it okay if we abandon ship?"
Yep.
And you're like, "Oh fuck! Now what do you do?" Right? I'm picturing all of these guys jumping into the water.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they were the ones getting towed, so there was another ship in the vicinity, if I'm not mistaken. So, anyways, he gives the order. Yeah, go ahead. You did all you can. You fought till the end.
Yep.
Thank you. So
I kept wondering if they were going to get depth charges from one of these other ships, and maybe that's how they were going to restock their armaments. Like that one's going down. Let's take everything it's got.
And
so briefly. Here comes more food dropped off for him. It's like, thank you, Cleveland. I'm Pitts, sir.
Yeah, that was kind of a kick in the balls.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It showed two things. I think one that it was on his mind, and two, he has not had any sleep, and so you can see it's really wearing on him.
Yeah, and by the last day or whatever, it really starts to affect him.
But this whole relationship that he has with Cleveland shows yet another strong aspect of his leadership skills, that he treats everybody underneath him with respect. He always treats everybody with respect. Remember when he sends off the signal about receiving the report of the sub towards the beginning, and he's like, all right, and he says something to the effect of, we're going to go get them. Wait, no, come back. We're going to go get them. Thank you. He throws in the thank you at the end.
Right.
He is always respectful towards everybody, which, also, if you think about it, he is always so calm and kind to those around him. And I just think that even though he's under incredible pressure, he always comes across as pretty calm.
Yeah, that's fucking Tom Hanks, man.
Which, again, I think this is a great call out for maybe checking out the book, because we get to see this calm demeanor and this looks in on his face, but the book will give you his inner turmoil and his inner questioning. I think that's kind of it would be an interesting combination of now after you've seen the movie.
You gonna read it?
I might listen to it.
Oh, okay.
So we get the captain and Cole, and they're talking. It's like, all right, we're in a bad way here. What are we going to do? Do we break radio silence and send a message? And this is what they go back and forth with.
I like how they go outside and Tom Hanks is talking to Charlie and they say something. You got that other private dude looking like trying to listen. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. Come here.
Well, I like the fact that we're going through what's going through their heads of, well, if we send a message, it'll probably get intercepted. But if we send just one word, it's less likely to get intercepted. So they come up with just send help.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they end up getting an answer back, and it sounds like that there's reinforcements maybe 4 hours away.
Which now you're thinking, uh-oh.
Well, he makes a critical decision here, which is the first time I had really heard them say this, is that they were doing a zigzag pattern.
Right.
Is what they typically do, because it keeps the U-boats questioning which way they're going, when they're going to turn, all that. He says, let's just do a straight shot and cut about an hour off that time. And if by doing that, it actually opens them up, because now the U-boats know exactly where they're going to end up and where they're going. But at the same time, they're getting that air support a little quicker. And
I think they're faster once they get a head start, right?
The
U-boats have to come up and chase them.
But the only problem is if there are possibly U-boats ahead of them. If they're ahead of them, they're heading straight towards them.
Yeah, well, he makes the decision and they go straight ahead. As the convoy nears the edge of Allied air cover, Greyhound confronts the remaining U-boats head-on. Krause engages the feared Grey Wolf directly, destroying it with a full broadside. Moments later, Allied patrol aircraft arrives, and Greyhound marks the position of another U-boat, which is eliminated from the air. With the Wolfpack defeated and the convoy secure, relief escorts arrive to take over. Greyhound and the surviving destroyers are ordered to port for repair. Krause is congratulated for his leadership and credited with multiple U-boat kills as sailors aboard the merchant ship cheer in gratitude. Finally alone, exhausted beyond words, Krause retreats to his cabin, and for the first time since entering the Black Pit, he allows himself to sleep. Roll credits.
So we are given another title card. Friday, forenoon watch, 0800 to 1200. 3 hours to air cover. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, here it comes. And then we have Captain asking the runner to go get his slippers.
Mm-hmm. And when he brings them back and he takes off his shoes, we see just how messed up his feet are. You can see all the blood through the socks.
And you look at the faces of the other people on board. They look down at the ground and they see all the blood marks. And I think that earns the captain a little bit even more respect from him, because the captain strikes me as a type of guy who wouldn't ask you to do something he wouldn't do himself.
He also
Choir.
doesn't complain at all.
At all.
He never showed throughout the whole time to them any uncomfort or discomfort he was having during during all of this going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And also during this, you can see that the fatigue is kind of taking control, and he asks for more coffee. And I was thinking, this dude hasn't eaten either, right? So
Yeah, he's got to be strung out.
yeah, for sure.
And so we are told that there are 2 targets heading towards them, and they're just 2 hours to the rendezvous point. And so fucking here we go.
And we also get a little bit more taunting from the U-boat, basically saying, "You're going to die."
Oh my gosh, I stated incorrectly the hole, glancing off the hole. That's where glancing off the hole happens here.
That's what I think so too,
I didn't want to correct you on that one.
But that was, I thought, one of the most tense scenes in this, of it just bouncing off the hole.
I think that might be my favorite scene.
It was great.
Because they got torpedoes in the water, and they do the maneuver.
Well, the fact that, like you mentioned earlier, Ken, about him calling out numbers and everything, and that he knew exactly the angle to get the ship at and how much to turn and all of that, so that would be possibly happen. Like,
well, I think
to
he
miss
was.
these.
I think he was hoping to miss it completely. I think because it pings off of it, it was just a fucking dumb luck.
If his
right?
angle had been even just off a couple of numbers,
it probably would have exploded.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just an incredible moment. And now he heads directly into the sub's path.
I love how he says at this point, if we have to, just ram him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with this shit.
Run him over.
Let's just take it to him. And this is the gray wolf he's going after.
Yeah.
Right? This is that dickhead who's been taunting him this whole time.
Yep. He launches a torpedo at the Greyhound, but it misses, and the sub is now forced to surface.
And then finally it gets hit.
And they sink it.
I like how so those big massive cannons are firing, right? And they're missing, and then they hit the hull, or they hit the submarine, and just that explosion. It was just kind of like a flashbang. It wasn't anything gaudy or anything.
Very Hollywood.
Yeah, it wasn't Hollywood. And I appreciated that because not only did it show us that they sank it, but it showed us that they could hit something.
But holy shit, here comes the second submarine. Man, you are cooked now.
Oh, I saw this coming a mile away. How could you not? You saw it coming, right?
Yeah. That again, this is kind of a thing we've seen in other movies. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but the airplane comes in at the last moment and saves them.
Yeah.
And I love it how the captain says, "Mark a target for that aircraft." It's like, yeah, because the airplane's like, what the hell's going on around here? Is there anything? Oh, somebody's shooting. Oh, I see it.
And then they drop the bombs, and biggity boom. Bye-bye, U-boat.
They sank 4 U-boats, which means 2 probably just turned tail and run.
Yeah, probably, because they knew they were outmatched by the man.
Now, overall, they lost 7 ships, which means in that first 26 hours, they had lost 5 of them. They only lost 2 in the last 24 hours. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 ships were also damaged.
And then we get
the HMS Diamond. They show up, and they're relieving the destroyers of their duty.
What'd you think of that? I kind of felt for the captains. He had gone all through all of this, had lost all those lives and everything. He wanted to see his mission all the way to the end. He wanted to deliver it to port, and they're like, no, you can leave. We'll take it. What do you guys think of that? It's kind of a kick in the crotch, I felt like.
I didn't. I thought I would be going like, oh, thank God. He only had 52 hours of fuel left, and they had no munitions. What if shit really hit the fan, right? The smart play is to go get healed. Your backup is there. That's what they're there for. Put your pride aside and do what's right. And he did. I like that part.
I kept wondering why, they're heading towards Liverpool and all that, why the other ships couldn't have met them halfway and joined them halfway instead of coming in at like the 2-hour mark.
I took it as resources were available as they were.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just chalked it up to that's how it was written in the novel.
A crazy number that I never realized was during World War II, at sea, it brings up that number at the end of the movie that 72,200 souls were lost at sea. That's a crazy number just to think about. The soldiers and the sailors that never even made it to the war.
And the other crazy number was the 3,500 ships lost at sea. It's like, holy fuck.
Are they all at the bottom of the ocean?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I will give you an interesting thought to ponder, that there are more airplanes at the bottom of the ocean than there are submarines up in the sky.
That is impressive.
And here I was going to say, oh, great, Dick. Thanks. I'm getting on a plane in 3 days. So there you go.
You have the captain. He says, Mr. Carling, she's all yours. I will be in my cabin if you need me.
He did say something earlier that kind of foreshadow, I think, this ending, or kind of maybe a callback, was he always had trouble sleeping on ships. He couldn't sleep on a ship, but you notice here, he goes right to sleep.
Oh, that's right. Cleveland, Mr. Cleveland, he said it, he loves the boat rocking.
It's the only way he can sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. But before he makes it down to his cabin, we pass by a supply ship, and everybody's like,
At that merchant ship
everybody's cheering.
That give you the feels?
Yes.
Give you the feels?
It was kind of nice because he really didn't get much praise. I'm sure he did when he got to shore and all that. But here he's thinking, I'm sure in his mind, about all the ships that were sunk, all those lives that were sunk, that they had killed all those people on the subs and everything. And that's weighing on him pretty heavily. He's not thinking about the win. He's thinking about all the loss. And then he looks over and sees these sailors all cheering for his ship and probably cheering for him. So yeah, it gave me the feels a little. How about you? Did it make your heart grow 2 times?
Oh, I smiled for sure. I almost welled up, but I didn't. It was a very touching moment, and you could see the pride in his face and just the recognition. And it was a good moment. Good moment.
And you do notice too that before he goes to sleep, still being the religious man he is, he gets down on his knees with his hurt feet, gets down on his knees and says a prayer.
And the movie closes the way that it opens.
Like a bookend.
And, just how exhausted he is because the light is just beaming in through those 2 portholes. Does he do anything about it? Nope.
He just closed his eyes and went to sleep.
Did you expect him to see Elizabeth Shue again at the end of the movie? Or
no?
I didn't expect that was the end of that story. We never heard more about it.
I kind of wrote it off after the second time you see it because there's only 2 flashbacks. You really only see her twice. And after the second time, it's not even halfway through the movie, I don't think. But
it's a real brief moment up on the bridge.
Just him thinking about her.
Yeah. And that was Greyhound. All right. What do you guys think? You guys ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. How about you, John? Are you ready to rate this flick?
Aye, Captain. Professor.
Hey, Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we think is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is where you get done watching it and you're thinking, I'm never watching that again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is you get done watching it, you turn to your buddy and you're like, oh, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me? I want 1 hour and 31 minutes of my life back.
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck. All right, who wants to go first?
Whose pick was this?
Oh, I don't know. This was my pick, I think.
Yep. This is Don's pick. Don, you get to go first.
Oh, lucky me. I thought Greyhound was a good film. It was very well made. Tom Hanks knocks it out of the park. As far as it being a war movie at $1.30, I was on board. It kept me engaged. The Elizabeth Shue bit was not needed. The score was great. I'm giving Greyhound 3.5 solid fucks.
So brief. I wanted to so briefly comment. I was on board. He was on board.
Now let's see if you can be even more brief. Go.
Greyhound is a movie that I've never seen before. I was very pleased at the outcome of the movie, and I really bought it. The Tom Hanks leadership role that he displays throughout the movie, I loved it. And the fact that I didn't know how this story was going to play out really made it for a good watch. The music was good. The pacing was really good. And like I said, I was so on board to see the daily life and how and why a destroyer works against a submarine. I was completely fascinated by that. And the tempo and the pacing of the battles were so cool to see. I think that this movie is a great Tom Hanks movie. I have no trouble giving this movie 4 fucks.
4 fucks from the professor. All right, you're left there, Seaman.
Before I go, Don, would you like to guess my rating?
You were going to give Greyhound. I felt like you liked it. You're going to give it 4 1/4 fucks. Final answer.
Greyhound is a non-stop action experience that keeps your heart racing from start to finish. Once the tension kicks in, it never really lets up. Centering almost the entire film on the ship's bridge is an impressive choice, giving us a command-level viewpoint that adds to the intensity and the urgency of every moment. The soundtrack deserves special credit. It's absolutely essential to the experience, perfectly rising and falling with the action. It's one of the best examples of a movie syncing what you hear and what you feel. Tom Hanks delivers a phenomenal performance, conveying a wide range of emotion largely through his eyes, while the dialogue stays calm but is loaded with pressure. My only issue was there was little to no character development to really get us behind the characters, and there was at least 2 go-nowhere storylines. The visuals and the realism are off the charts. Even as someone who's not usually big on war movies, this one stayed engaging the whole way through. I might not put this movie on again myself, but if it's already playing, it's definitely seaworthy. And it's for those reasons I'm giving Greyhound 4 1/4 fucks.
Fucking nailed it.
When he said seaworthy, it's like, wait, so he's giving it a C? Wait, are we doing letter grades now?
No, he's seaworthy. With 3 1/2 fucks from me, 4 fucks from the professor, and 4 1/4 fucks from the comic book guy, that gives Greyhound an average of 3.9 fucks, which now puts it in the 14th spot with From Dusk Till Dawn, The Descent, Moonrise Kingdom, The Suicide Squad, Happy Gilmore, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Arrival. It is slightly better than Psycho, Super 8, Step Brothers, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Silver Linings Playbook, Inglourious Bastards, True Lies, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Die Hard 2, Die Harder, and What Dreams May Come. And it is slightly worse than Jojo Rabbit, The Iron Giant, V for Vendetta, Tombstone, The Batman, Edge of Tomorrow, The Thing, Dodgeball, Zombieland, Clerks 2, The 33, and Sinners. So there you have it, boys.
Not too shabby, especially for a movie that didn't make it to the theaters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it not making it to the theaters doesn't really affect our score. However, didn't we make a rule about theatrical releases?
You wanted to, but we didn't.
Because we also did that other movie.
Right.
And the airplane movie. What was it? God, I can't remember the name of it.
Airport 77.
No.
Listeners, please and thank you. Can you imagine?
What was that other one about the World War II fighter squadron?
Oh, yeah.
1917?
No, it was an homage to the beauty of flying. The Corsairs, the 2 Corsairs, Faithful, something like that.
Devotion?
Devotion.
Devotion was theatrically released.
Was it? I didn't think so.
Yes, it was. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, hey, John, where can they find us?
They can always find us at our website, 3 Guys in a Flick, where there is a web form on there that you can submit a movie you would like to go in the Bronco helmet. You can also find us at all of social media, where on Tuesdays, I announce what movie we will be releasing that following Thursday. And you can find us at any place that hosts podcasts. While you're listening to us, subscribe, leave us a comment, and in the comments, if you'd like, put a movie you'd like us to review.
Hey, John, speaking of comments, do we have any this week?
Why, yes, we do. This one comes from Sigurdin Morais. It's for the movie Meet the Parents. Don has to go. Such a smartass. He don't understand everyone is unique. Fucking idiot. Would you like to respond to that, Don?
Sure. Smartass. Moi? In all reality, thank you for your comment. We do appreciate you listening and taking the time to letting us know how you feel.
Yeah, and if you guys want to leave positive comments, negative comments, it's all valuable to us.
Absolutely. I also want to thank Nolan N. for throwing Greyhound into the Broncos helmet. We had a lot of fun reviewing it. We hope you had a lot of fun listening to it. Also want to thank anybody who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
And I'm Ken. Thanks for listening.
Three guys with some mics, yeah, dive into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Don as the captain, steering us right. Kid drops, now is shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd, we break it down, make sure you heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know, we always give a fuck, no lie.
I'm going to go use the restroom.
Thanks for sharing, buddy. If you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
What's the front of the ship called?
The bow.
And the back?
The back. Your boyfriend downstairs? Okay. Give him a kiss for me. All right, bye.
No tongue.
No hickeys.
Fuck off, both of you.
Oh!
Are you the gray wolf?
I don't know. Should I be not the Nazi?
Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. It's time. Professor, did you come prepared?
Really? I got one. Maze Mound.
Maze Mound. How many you got?
I've got 3.
I got 2.
One of my I feel a little bit bad about.
Oh, fuck. That one's last.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go first. Poon Hound.
Gray Hump.
Poon Pound.
Layhound.
Wait. Mine All-Star. Tom Skanks.
Good call. Nice. Mine all sounded like old people's porn.
It kind of did. Ominous.
You want my last one?
Yes, hit me.
Pound.
Whoa,
No,
dude.
no,
No.
Too
Whoa.
far?
Too much.
And may all your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right, fuck off. Good night.
When we're in the base, we hit the sky. So tune in to the thrill, catch the vibe. As three guys in a fight, keep the passion alive.